Hey guys, and welcome back to today's video. I am Forrest and we'll be covering my PlayStation 4 collection. This is the update for 2024. And because of my massive collection that I have, unfortunately this will have to be two parts. So this is part one. And let me tell you, even part one is going to be a massive amount of games. So what I did, I actually changed the games over there since we're talking about some different games this time. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video, and let's quickly get started because we have a lot to cover. First game on the list, starting out in the alphabet here, if you want to call it that, is Dot Hack GU Last Recode. Pretty good game. It's a collection of all the Dot Hack games. I won't be able to go into every game in detail like I did with my PlayStation 3 collection, I believe, but I'll do my best. I'll do my absolute best. This is a visual novel here. This is a live action visual novel. This is 428 Shibuya Scramble. At one point this game had risen up in value. I'm not quite sure if it's still valuable, but it's quite a charming game actually. Next one I got actually was, I was at Half Price Books and found it just there on the shelf. This is 2064 Read Only Memories. Neo San Francisco 2064. 10 hours of classic point and click adventure gameplay. A cinematic experience with robust voice acting, which it does have a lot of voice acting. It's pretty cool actually. It's a pretty charming game. I like the kind of 16-bit design. And the music's really good in that game too. Now this one actually is a Vanillaware game. This is one of the launch releases for this game. And probably the harder one to get because it came with an art book pre-order. It came kind of with a slipcover and everything. So this is 13 Sentinels. Aegis or Aegis Rem, it's how you pronounce the name. But this is the one that came with the 36-page art book when you bought it at launch. This is open, but I kept the sleeve around it so that I could keep it intact whenever it's on the shelf so that it doesn't fall out of the sleeve. And next we have, getting to the Atelier games. We're going to breeze through these quickly. This is Atelier Sophie. Atelier Ferris. Atelier, I think it's Lydia and Sueli, The Alchemist and the Mysterious Paintings. This is actually a really good game because you do traverse through these paintings in the game and there's just so much content. I really do like this game. A slice of life RPG featuring mysterious worlds within paintings. Honestly, Koei Tecmo has been on a doggone roll with the series of the Atelier games. They really have, and I can't really stress enough. You really should check these games out, guys. Nelki, the Legendary Alchemist, Ateliers of the New World. This takes all of the legendary alchemists, this character being a non-alchemist, into this little town where you build and create this bustling town, or with the alchemists to guide you on your quest. It's a fun game, and this is really one of the harder ones to get because of the fact that, well, because of the fact of all the characters in the game. It's essentially the reason for that. This next one, I don't know what it is about this particular Atelier game, but it's extremely expensive. And I really, to the life of me, cannot understand why it's so expensive, guys. But it really is expensive. This is Atelier Lelua, the Scion of Arland. It could be that Atelier, I think it's her name, Rorona? No. Atelier Rorona. I think the main character from the first game is in this one. And because of that, I believe that's the reason it's very expensive. I could be wrong. I don't know much about this because I haven't played this one. because I'm so far behind with the Atelier games, guys. There's so many of them. There is just so many of them. It's hard to really keep up with all of them. But it's very expensive. It's the most expensive Atelier game on PS4 out of all of them, and I don't know why. I really have no clue. Last I checked, it was over $175. So, for whatever reason why it's so pricey, I really couldn't tell you, honestly. The series that, well, the game that really pushed the series into popularity is Atelier Ryza, Ever Darkness and the Secret Hideout. Well, so this game is what modernized the Atelier games. This really changed the series in a whole different direction. Kind of what happened with Atelier Chalet in a way. It really pushed the series forward. Atelier Ryza 2, the Lost Legends, and the Secret Fairy. So I do not have Atelier Ryza 3 on PS4. It's on PS5. So you will not see it in this collection. I do have another Atelier game that you did not see here. It's on PS4, but it's going to be in the second video because, again, I have so many games, even the ones I have alphabetized on another shelf. It's going to be contained to another video, unfortunately, guys. So we're going to move on from that and keep going here. In the current alphabetized games I have, Aladdin and the Lion King, the Classic Games Collection. There's another version that comes with 3 games on it. I'm not going to worry about buying that one, truth be told. Alliance Alive, Awakening Edition, HD Remastered. Akiba's Trip, Undead and Undressed. Speaking of that, I actually have to kind of change up some things a little bit here because I do have it over here. Akiba's Trip, Hellbound, and Debriefed. The 10th Anniversary Edition. This is the PSP game ported to PS4. I will set that here for now as we continue on the alphabets. Oh, actually, here's the back of the box. And look at all this stuff that comes with this box, guys. That is absolutely insane. The amount of content this comes with. You're going to understand why the PS4 is my favorite console of all time. I know people like the PS2. I know people like the PS1. When you just see the plethora amount of RPGs on PS4, the reason why I just adore the PS4, why I've been buying games for the PS4 over any system that I have in my collection, there's a reason I do. And when you see the games in my collection, you can understand why. And I want people to realize that the other collections I have are small because I realize a lot of them are ported to PS4. So let's continue on. Sealed copy, brand new, unopened, of Oculus Beat. I've never opened it since the day I bought it. It's been sealed for probably 4 years, maybe 5 years. So this came out in 2017. Probably 6 or 7 years I have not opened it, or I bought it and never opened it. So this next game right here, guys, was a game that was given to me from a good friend in Australia. This is from Food for Dogs. This is Ark of Alchemist. This did come out here digitally, but not physically. It was originally supposed to, but then it got canceled. So I would like to thank Food for Dogs. Thank you so much for this game. And there's actually another 2 games in this collection. They may not show up in part 1 and part 2 that she also sent me. But we'll get to those, and I'll point those out as we go along. This one I imported because I wanted it, because this did not come out here physically as well. This is Excel World versus Sword Art Online. Another game we did not get physically in North America, so I had to do the import route for this one. Guys, I'm telling you, this collection is solid, absolutely solid. Anima, Gate of Memories. This did get a physical release here, but the box set, I used to have the box set. It got damaged, unfortunately, so I sold it, hoping to get another box set. I'll probably eventually get another one, but it got damaged during my move here. So next one is Breed. Kind of livened up my collection a little bit with some bullet hell games. Figured that'd be a good approach. This one's kind of expensive, man, and again, kind of like with that Atelier game, I have no idea why. There's a lot of games in my collection. It's pricey, and I have no idea why. I really do not know. So this next game, and I do have to apologize, guys, I have the box set to it. Idea Factory sent the box set separately from the game, so I will probably show that in part 2 and maybe bring this game back up again. I have to remind myself of that. So here's the game, Argelaine Crosswave, and I do own the box set for this, but again, I'll have to show that in a later video, so I have to remind myself of that when I show that here. This is actually imported from China, or the Asia English region. This is Bloodborne Old Hunters Edition. And I do know that this was also released in the UK PAL territories, but this was quite cheaper, and I found it for $20 at half-price books in the US. So for me, I'll take it any day of the week. Next game here is a cross game of all different characters like Ruby, Persona, BlazBlue. They're all crammed into this game. It's quite impressive. This here is BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. Simply cool. You don't hear a lot of people talk about this game, but it's quite fun. So, I wanted to show that to you guys. This next one is charming as all heck. This is Blue Reflection. Needs no introductions, guys. Absolutely amazing game, and I do own the sequels box set, believe it or not. I'll be showing that in part 2, because unfortunately I just have too many games to get to and not enough time to get to them all. Series of games that aren't very popular: Bubsy, Paws on Fire limited edition. This does come with a soundtrack for anybody who's curious. There is the soundtrack and the art book. And the music is actually quite good in this game, guys. The music is actually quite good, so definitely give that game a chance. Now, it is more of a on rails. You don't really get to control him, which is why it's called Paws on Fire, because realistically, you're really on rails. However, this one you have full control of him. This is Bubsy, the Woolly Strike Back. This actually did get released before Paws on Fire did. So, if anybody curious about that. Really got to speed this up a little bit. This is Crystar, Day 1 edition. Quite a pricey game, although it did get released for the Switch, so the price might have come down, but I prefer the console version over the Switch version, just for performance reasons. Here's Chaos Child. You guys starting to see a pattern here with as far as like my preference to PlayStation 4 for my JRPGs and visual novels. It's just the system that contains everything in one place. It really truly does. Here's Code Vein, and this one's not even open. I'll eventually at some point get around to playing it. But the reason why it's sealed, I got it at launch. I even got the what do you call it? The pre-order poster, and it's hanging on the wall. But I just never had time to really play it, and it's unfortunately been sitting on the back burner for years after it came out. Now this is going to shock a lot of people. So far I've shown a bunch of JRPGs and visual novels, but this one's not either one of them. Here is Cyberpunk, and this actually contains the PS5 upgrade. It has all the content, the update, the perfected version of Cyberpunk, which now physically you can buy for PS5, which I will eventually. So like I said before in a video that I did for my PS3 collection, I do get Western games every so often. And this is more like an RPG, but a Western RPG. But it's a good game, and quite honestly, I gotta give CD Projekt Red applause for improving the game over the years and sticking to their guns, and they did not back down. And they kept their promise, and the game is actually really good. So, Yeah, it's shocking to see a Western game in my collection. There might be one other one that might surprise you guys. You just have to watch part 2 to see what the other Western game that I have, because few and far between in my collection. Here's Chronos Arc. Those good old Kimco RPGs. Alright, we gotta keep this trucking. Here is Code Realize, which contains 2 games in one. That's why the cover is split. It contains 2 games. This is kind of the version I prefer over the other version I used to own for Vita. Code Realize Wintertide Miracles. And I own the limited edition on Vita of that game. Caligula Effect 2. And I do own the first Caligula Effect game. I don't have the box set in front of me because, unfortunately, guys, I got too many games to get to that I could not pull them all out in one video, unfortunately. Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. I had to import this because this got re-released physically, but not here in North America. I know people are kind of mixed on the Devil May Cry 4 game specifically. However, I had to have it. Dead or Alive Extreme 3 Fortune. I know there's another version of Dead or Alive 3, but, you know, I'm cool with just having this one. Even for this version, it's kind of pricey. You would have thought that having the newer version would be cheaper, but apparently not. Demon Gaze 2, and I need to actually pick up Demon Gaze Extra, I think it's called. I found that at a few GameStops, but it's kind of pricey. I think it's like $59.99 still. But I need to add that to the collection because I don't have it. Here's the Sky of Fives. I think it's like a Day 1 edition because I also own the limited edition I found like last year. So you'll see that in part 2, guys. Again, I have so many games and so little time to get to all of them. It's I wouldn't say it's depressing. It's just it's just the truth, guys. Death in Request. This is unopened, guys. I bought this from Fry's Electronics. This is still brand new. It even has the $59.99 price tag on it. This is Dark Rose Valkyrie. That shows you how long I've had this. I bought it when it was a fairly new game, and I never opened it. So this means when I got this, it was around the time when it came out, and that might have been back in, what's the year on this date back here? Did they even do the dates on these anymore? Oh, yeah, 2017. So back when this came out, I bought it and I actually never opened it. So it's just crazy, man. It's a lot of games I need to get to eventually in my collection. Here is Dragon Star Veneer. This game is solid. Like, this is probably one of the best games from Compound Heart. I have never been a big fan of the art style of these games. But let me tell you something. Recently, they've stepped up their game. And I got to say, I am very pleased with the art style, the gameplay, and the story of this game. And I do think it's charming, and I absolutely love Dragon Star Veneer. It's a solid entry from Compound Heart and Idea Factory. Truly is a really good game, guys. Next, we have Dragon's Crown Pro. This is the Steelbook. I'm not a big fan of Steelbooks, but you know what? This is the exception to the rule to a solid game. I'm not going to knock something that's a really good game. So, made an exception with a Steelbook, and that's one of them. Next up we have Danganronpa Trilogy. This is a very hard to find version. I know there's a newer version of Danganronpa that's out for the Switch. But if you're still trying to stick to console, stick to the PlayStation, you really can't go wrong with this, especially because of the fact, for anybody who's never seen this version, there's the art book. There is Dragon. Danganronpa V3, Danganronpa 1 and 2 Reload on this disc here. They actually released Danganronpa 1 and 2 collection together, single, and then released V3 separate. But this is the version to get all 3 in one, with the exception of obviously those ones that came out for the Vita that are kind of side story Danganronpa games. Still a version to get. Date Alive, Rio Reincarnation. Remember that PS3 game I told you guys about in my PS3 Collection video? This is the game I was referring to. So if you want to play that, this is the version to get. So there you go. And I believe it has nothing inside. No, it doesn't contain anything at all. It does have an alternate cover. Do I even have time to show this? Because I'm trying to keep the video. See, that's their cover from the PS3 game. It's been redone, but it's the same cover essentially. So, alrighty. Next up, we have Dragon Quest 11 Echoes of the Elusive Age S. This is the version that contains the kind of new art style, new scenarios, 2D mode for the game, orchestral in-game music. The graphics took a step back, unfortunately, with this version. So I would essentially say play the original for the graphics if you want the better graphics, but play this version if you want the more content. It's sort of a weird trade-off. That's one of the things I didn't like about this re-release, but ultimately, oh, and what's cool is his has an alternate cover as well. I'm telling you, make this video way too long, guys. If I keep this up, I really am going to be pressing myself for time. And you're going to also notice something too, as I'm showing you these games. They're in actually fantastic condition. I know if you probably noticed that in the light shining on the cases. I don't tolerate scratch cases. I can't stand them. This is Dissidia, Dissidia Final Fantasy NT. This is a weird name. I never liked the naming for the Dissidia games. I can't speak much on it though. I didn't play it all that much and kind of got bored of it after a few gameplay sessions. Destiny Connect TikTok Travelers. I own the limited edition for the Switch, but the reason I have it on PS4, it just looks better, it plays better, it performs better. Unfortunately, the Switch version just doesn't run that well, so ended up having to get the standard copy for PS4. I love the Switch, guys, but I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't run that well. It really doesn't. The next one here I have in my collection is one that I didn't realize until now with Adult Swim and the whole closures with those companies, that this will actually become something of a novelty to have. This is Death's Gambit. I know there's another version of Death's Gambit that has more content, but this is Death's Gambit. I love the cover of this a ton. It's not as cool looking with the Death's Gambit other version of the game, but I love the cover of this one a lot. So the music's really good. The gameplay's solid. I picked this up brand new for $9 at GameStop. $9. Not a bad deal. Next up, we have Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. Good game. Dude, I tell you, the recent Digimon games have been really solid. Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. That's a mouthful. I was trying to say that and then couldn't get the words out. This is one that you actually have to play both games. You have to. They coincide with each other, so it's crucial. You can't really play one without the other. Digimon Survive. This is a visual novel first, gameplay second. So if you're not really into visual novels, I wouldn't waste too much time on it. I would still give it a chance if you're a diehard Digimon fan, because it's actually really good. It's a 2D game, so the gameplay when it's in like a tactical strategy game is a bit strange. That is something that you will have to get used to. Okay, this next game, guys, I gotta take the receipt out because I can't pronounce it. I'm gonna read it right now while I show you the guys the cover. Alright, here we go. Ore no imoto ga kona ni kawaii wake ga nai. Happy ending. Okay, that was a mouthful. Anyways, here's the back of the case there, guys. I don't know much about the game other than that. So, whoa, 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 whoa! Didn't mean to pick that game up yet. Sorry about that, guys. So, here's the next game here. Final Fantasy VII Remake. As you can see, the box set that's gone up in value because they didn't make a box set for it for PS5 when they did integrate. So I freaking love the cover though. I wish I could get my hands on Rebirth because I missed out on it. It's starting to get really pricey. I'm going to have to pay more money for it, unfortunately. Next up we have Final Fantasy VIII Remaster. Thank you so much, Retro Kaiser from Australia, who sent this to me. I would not have this in my collection without him. So this truly is something I really do cherish. I want to thank anyone who sent me a game or did a trade or anything like that for my PS4 collection. I have to be upfront about that to those here who maybe sub to my channel or follow me on Twitter. Next up is the Day 1 edition of Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. Now, this is very important that I mention this. I also own the limited edition of this game, so you'll probably see that in part 2, guys. I tell you, box sets, to me, knows no bounds, guys. It absolutely does not. The PAL version of Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age. I should have never sold the Steelbook version. It's expensive now, but it is what it is. Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition. I do have a love and hate relationship to this game. Would I ever play it again from start to finish? Probably not. Would I ever play the ending of the game? Absolutely. Because the ending of the game really teared me up. Especially the last 2 hours of the game was really good. Full Metal Panic. Fight Who Dares Wins. I love the cover of this. You're probably like, what in the world is this game? I know a lot of people have probably never heard of it. But yeah, it's a solid little strategy RPG. Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise. Not the greatest hit version, thankfully. But all the same, it's in my collection, guys. I was surprised that game made it to greatest hits. That kind of shocked me a little bit. Oh man, we got to keep going, guys. Here is Fault Milestone 1. I actually played the beta of the visual novel back when it was first released on Steam. That's actually how I learned about this game for the first time. So that was cool to see. Alrighty. Fairy Fencer F. Sorry about that, guys. Advent Dark Force. That one's unopened. It's a brand new game. Exist Archive. Man. This is actually a solid game. Believe it or not, this was supposed to have been kind of like Valkyrie Profile. The way the gameplay is set up in this game, it reminds me so much of Valkyrie Profile in the way it plays. So it's actually a pretty decent game. I do recommend it for those who kind of wants that kind of Valkyrie Profile aesthetic in its gameplay. Okay, I got to trash a game here, so do not, under any circumstance, buy Genso Rondo Bullet Ballet. Stay as far away from this game as possible. It's absolutely terrible. I've been wanting to sell this box set out of my collection for a very long time. Game is garbage. Anyway, let's move on from that. Next game here we have is Gintama Rumble. This is actually a action game, like what is it? Like Dynasty Warriors, I suppose. I love the cover of the game though a lot. It is a fun game, but I will admit I got to a part of the game where it's really hard. I have not progressed past this ship area where you have to fight a bunch of enemies. I will eventually get back to it at some point, but it got me. It did. Girls on Panzer Dream Tank Match. Man, I am throwing out some oddball games to you guys right now. You're probably like, what in the world are these games? Somebody stumbled across this YouTube video. I was like, what is this? Tell you, man, this collection is probably the most unique one. It probably is. Still copy of God Wars, God Wars Future Past. Now, these games are no longer listed on the store. It's brand new. It's probably not worth anything right now. I probably may end up not opening this just because of the fact that, well, no, I can't play it digital anymore because they took it off the store. So much for that idea. I may have to find another copy, use or open it when I do get around to playing it. So here is God Eater 2. It was originally called God's Eaterverse 2. But they dropped God's S and just called it God. I'm not sure what the reason for that, but it does come with God Eater Resurrection, which is a remake of God's Eaterverse. So, thought I'd mention that to you guys. God Eater 3. I was even amazed they even made a third game, but they did. They really, and it's not really a bad game either. They're all three of them are good. All three of them are very good games. Next up is my favorite box set here, guys. This is Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. Obviously, Versus Rising does not have a box set or a physical release, but still, this is cool to have. So if you've never actually played the Grand Blue games, they went all out with this box set. They really did. I don't know anything about this game, so this is I think it's called Gunhouse. I got it on a whim one day. I don't know much about it. It's one of those weird games, guys. Gundam Breaker 3. Here's another game that Food for Dogs sent me. This is a game called Katana Kami. Now, I believe this is in the same universe as Way of the Samurai. This is like Way of the Samurai, or it is Way of the Samurai. It's in that same universe as an isometric game. I'm going to eventually get around to playing it. I haven't opened it yet, but it looks really charming, and I do appreciate Food for Dogs for sending this to me as well. The next one is it's either called Kaze or Kaze, The Wild Mask. I think it's Kaze. It's a quirky, weird looking game. I haven't really played it a lot. It's actually not a bad platform. I played like the first, well, I didn't play it a lot. I only played the first level. It's too many games to get to right now. Here's Knack. The case is still clean, the way I like my games to be. And the sequel to Knack, I have it over here. It's not even open. I'll eventually get to Knack's sequel. I haven't even played Knack 2. But yeah, this is brand new. I bought it, I think, for $40, and I've never got around to playing it. I'll eventually get around to it. It's going to take me a bit to get to, though. Next up is Kotodama, The Seven Mysteries of Fujisawa. Not Sama. This is a weird game. Like Bejeweled, I guess, but with visual novel aspects. So, take that what you will of it. It does have a pre-order, not pre-order. It comes with like some postcards inside. But next up is Kingdom Hearts final chapter prologue. Yeah. So we have that there as well. And it does have the little keychain inside of it there. So that's pretty cool. I have to be extremely careful with these boxes because they're just so fragile. I probably shouldn't have stacked anything on top of this one. I might can save it, actually. I'm looking at it now, I can. So we're going to have to leave it here, unfortunately. It's getting a crease in it. And I set it over here when I shouldn't have. Here is import of Legend of Mana. Yeah. There's one reason I don't own the PS1 version of this game, because I have it right here on Sorry guys if the camera's getting fuzzy. It's the lighting. It's kind of hitting stuff and it's sort of making it kind of odd. I think it looks okay for now. I do apologize about that, guys. Lost Sphere. This is a really fun game. And very hard to get because Square Enix didn't release this in retail at all. You had to get on their website. I got really lucky and found it at a GameStop one day. But I had to pay $65 for it, which, looking back on it now, that's crazy to think about. So, here is Lapis Labyrinth, limited edition. And the next up here is Liar Princess and the Blind Prince. Let me see how the... Yeah. Didn't know if the camera was picking it up that well or not, but there you go, guys. We're going to push these over here. Alrighty. Last stack of like games as far as like standard copies. And then we got to get to the last box sets we have. So we're going to storm through this very quickly. The Lost Child. Another one that was unfortunately delisted, no longer physically or digitally available. Left Alive, and the reason I have this game because it's not that great, to be quite honest, it's a terrible game. The cover reminds me of Metal Gear Solid, the art director who made the Metal Gear Solid art, did the art for this. It's beautiful. It really is a very nice looking cover for a game that unfortunately didn't do very well. Here's another charming game. This is Marsupilami. It's apparently based off of a popular cartoon from Australia. So Marsupilami. That's the actual tag I paid for. And what I liked about this company, they used to sell video games. They moved to making card games. They would put the games in plastic bags like this. So these are technically new to protect the cases when you bought them. I do like that. Monster Hunter World Reborn. I'm sorry, Monster Hunter World Iceborne Master Edition with the original Monster Hunter game included. Momodora. Hyperdimension Neptunia VIR. So this is Hyperdimension Neptunia Victory, I believe. Remade? Or it's its own thing, I don't really know. Again, I'm not a big Neptunia fan. I kind of started phasing away from the Neptunia games as time went on because I really wasn't into them. Mary Skelter Finale. Now, because I own that game, I do have to show you guys. Oops. The contents for that. This is the pre-order for it. Not pre-order. This is the limited edition for Mary Skelter Finale. So there's the box. And that's not all, guys. That's not all. This came with also the books of all 3 games of Mary Skelter. They're in there. Man. Let me tell you guys, they went all out with this. They really did. It's crazy. Melty Blood. Tell you guys, when I tell you this collection, it's got some solid games in it. Oh, it does. I did not mess around with the PS4, man. When I went all out with the PS4, I went all out with the PS4. I really did. Nier Replicant. This is unopened, by the way. I'll get around to playing it eventually, but I have not gotten around to it just yet. And I've had them for quite a while. I had them since it released. And I own this as well. This is Nier Automata, Game of the Yohara Edition, unopened as well. So I got both of these I need to play. Playing Stellar Blade made me kind of open my eyes a little bit more and wanted to play those. So I'll get around to them. So we have Ninja Gaiden Master Collection. Definitely had to have this one in my collection, guys. I wanted to get the English cover version, but it kept being sold out, so I had to just get the Japanese one. Here is the non-rare games, solid game, and this one actually comes with a manual, which is extremely hard to get these days, especially for PS4 games. NG. This is the sequel to Deathmark on Vita and PS4, which I need to get the physical PS4 version of Deathmark. I have it on Vita, but I want to get the physical version of that. Ni no Kuni Remastered. Truth be told, guys, I am not a big fan of Ni no Kuni. I didn't really like the games all that much. Ni no Kuni 2. Revenant Kingdom. This is the Premium Edition, which I actually own the other box set of this game as well. So I have both of them. That's another thing that I'm going to have to stop doing, is getting every variant of the same game. Really bad. I have a bad habit of that. New Gundam Breaker, which you guys probably remember earlier. I showed Gundam Breaker 3 somewhere over here, I think. Yeah. Did I? It's right there. Gundam Breaker 3. I remember seeing it somewhere, you know. And then, of course, you have Neo. The World Ends With You. This was actually open. I'm going to be honest. It's better to play it on, I think, whatever the original system it came on. It's hard to play on the newer system. Am I thinking about the right one? Yeah, I think that's the game. No, it's Neo. The original World Ends With You. That came out for the Switch. That one's hard to play. It's very hard to play. Our World Is Ended. This is the Day 1 edition. It comes with an art book in here. This is a quirky visual novel. It's quite a charming one, but it's one of those games you're either gonna like it or you won't like it. Visual novels are a dime a dozen in terms of my expectations. I go into them without too much reserve. I'm either going to enjoy the story or I'm not going to enjoy it. It just depends on what it is. This is Omega Quintet. Actually, I think is when Idea Factory and Compound Heart and Alum started making better games, I think. It was right around the time of Omega Quintet. This was actually, believe it or not, Omega Quintet was the first game for the PS3 as an RPG at the time. I'm sorry, PS4. It was the first release like PS4 RPG. I remember that being a big deal back in the day. Another game from Food for Dogs sent me is Ori. It's really solid. Really solid. I love this game. I really do. And actually the back cover's in French. It's not even in English, by the way. Sorry about that, guys. My camera has to adjust because of the light. Yeah, it's in French. That's really super awesome. I guess the light's kind of affecting the camera tonight, which is unfortunate. Here is Persona 3 Portable. I had to have the physical release for console. Just to be able to play it on the big screen makes me very happy. Persona 5 Strikers. One of the few examples of how to keep someone entertained with Dynasty Warrior style gameplay, but with Persona. And I really like this game. I absolutely like this game. The continuation of the story after Persona 5. So that makes me extremely, extremely happy. And we got a few more games to get to, guys. We're almost at end of part 1. Here is Punchline. This is a strange game, guys. Yeah, it's weird. Oops. I'll let you guys try to read the contents of that if you can. If you're even able to. I'll see if I get it closer. You can read that there. It's a weird game. So it's one of those acquired taste kind of games. Psychopaths, Mandatory Happiness, and Persona 3, Dancing in Moonlight. Because why not? Why not, as they say. Alrighty, guys. Let's get to the last 3 standard games, and we'll wrap this up with some box sets. Persona 5, Dancing in Starlight. I never got the version that had the digital copy of Persona 4. I'm kind of mad that I never got it. But next up we have Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright Trilogy. This is extremely hard to get the English cover. I don't know how I got lucky to get this, but it's extremely hard to find the English cover to this. It really, really, really is hard to find. Man. All right. Well, guys, we're at the end of standard copies. I'm going to move these games over. We'll get to the last remaining box sets that I have to show you guys, and we're going to wrap up the video. Alrighty, guys, to wrap up the video, let's get to the box sets real quick. Here we have Witch on the Holy Night. Cannot wait to get Tsukuhime's English release, man. That's going to be sick. It's going to be absolutely sick. Oh yeah, I forgot the last one. This is Ratchet and Clank, only on PlayStation Edition. So this is actually a thing they did over in the UK with this cover. A good friend from the UK sent this over to me. Dark Ridden Soul sent this over to me from Twitter. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. This is really cool to have that. I totally forgot about that. All right, let's keep going. I never opened this yet, but I did I did pick this up not long ago. This is Made in Abyss, Binary Star Falling into Darkness Collector's Edition. Pretty awesome. Next up we have Senran Kagura, Peach Beach Splash, Loop 8. Not a good game at all, guys. Stay away from it. It's not good. It really is not. Tales of Zestiria, guys. Box set. I really wanted to like this game, and unfortunately it did not deliver in any way at all. It was not great. Little Dragon's Cafe. And what's charming about this game, it comes with some cards, a dragon plush, which you can see him right there. This is a sweet box set. Truly just a charming box set. I absolutely love that box set. East 8, the La Cremosa of Donna. Man, I tell you, I could not be without that game. Tokyo Xanadu. EX Plus. That box set is very massive. And to wrap it up for part 1, here is Sword Art Online Hollow Realization Collector's Edition. And where are we going to put you? I have no idea. Let's see. How about over here, I think. Well, anyways, guys, that is it for part 1. I'm going to get up real quick and push this camera back just a little bit so you guys can see the games a little bit better. And man, part 2 is going to be even crazier than this, guys. Even crazier than this. So thank you so much for joining me here on part 1 of my PlayStation 4 Collection 2024. We haven't even scratched the surface of the amount of games I have on my PS4, or for PS4. There is a ton that I want to show you guys in part 2. More box sets, more standard copies of games, more imports. The list goes on. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you again for joining me here, and I'll catch you in the next video. If you like videos like this and more, please subscribe down below, and thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.